Hello, everybody, and welcome to my weekly live show. I am back after the new year, so a very big happy new year to all of you. I hope you all had a super Christmas, a super holidays, and that you're ready and raring to listen to what's going on in my show today and over the next weeks, coming months. For those of you that don't know me, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. So I'm a romantic suspense author based in the UK, and basically that's what I do. And I do a bit of live broadcasting, obviously, and other bits and pieces as well. And part of what I do on my behind the scenes show, for those of you that are regular viewers will know, is that I ask guests to very kindly come along onto my show. Guests from all walks of life, people that I've never met before, and I just find it such a hugely exciting experience. And today I'm exceedingly lucky because I've got somebody who's come into me over from New York. He's making faces at me in New York, who's going to talk to us today about what it is that he does. So I've got a little bio here. Sorry, I'm turning my head because I put it on my iPad and it's decided to go off. So just bear with me a second. Okay, so we're talking today to Jman, and he is a professional speaker. He also is a real estate agent, which I always find really funny because to us it's an estate agent. So when they talk about real estate, it's such a cute phrase. So we've got we've got him here to talk a little bit about what it is he does, focusing mainly on his speaking career and technology he lectures about and various bits and pieces. But we're just going to see where the conversation goes. Obviously, as always, just say hi if you're here, drop us a comment, and we'll see where the show goes. So without further ado, I am going to try to remember how the technology works, having not done it for a couple of weeks. And I am going to show you my card. Here we go. And I am now going to welcome Jman to the show.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks
live.
for having me. All right. Thanks for having me. Hello, everybody. Good evening, I guess, over there, right? It's afternoon here. It's 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Thanks for having me on the show.
You're very welcome. And I'm just so thrilled. I think one of the things that I have enjoyed most about starting these live shows is meeting people like you, who I would never in a million years have met. And we spoke briefly before the show about how amazing technology is. And it's just incredible to think that I don't know how many thousands of miles away you are, but we are nowhere near each other. And yet
Right.
Here we are talking to each other.
Yeah, it's simply amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely incredible. We've got our first comment. This is actually my husband, bless him, who sits there and watches every single show of mine.
Oh, my wife does too. Isn't it great?
so he's just saying hello.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
Yeah, he's in the other room, having put the children to bed, and he's now sitting there and watching. So that's great. So what I was interested to know, when I had a quick look at your bio that you sent through to me, it says on here, now, your speaking career began 28 years ago when you were the ring announcer for your third grade elementary school circus. First of all, what age is third grade? Because that means nothing to me. And second,
Right.
how on earth did all that happen?
Well, so for me, third grade is, I was 8 years old at the time. And my elementary school had a circus of sorts, not like you would see on TV, like we didn't have elephants and tigers and bears and all that, but we had some people were jugglers and we had some people doing gymnastics. And so it was like a mini circus for young children. We were all in the circus and I was the ring announcer. So I went out there, I said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the greatest show on earth. It's the Kirk Road Circus. And so there I was, 8 years old, my first speaking opportunity, I guess you'd say. And from that age on, you couldn't get me off a stage. Any opportunity that I had to speak in front of a crowd, I loved it. So
Wow, that's so did you, when you say any opportunity to be on the stage, did you ever think about acting, or was it always the speaking that was kind of your thing?
Wasn't always speaking. So like I was in chorus, so I would sing. If there was an opportunity to do a solo, I would audition for that. Things where the average 8 or 10 or 15-year-old would be intimidated or wouldn't want to do it in front of a crowd, I was first to raise my hand and say, hey, let me do that.
Yeah, I was last. I was the one at the back going, no. Oh, fab. So that's kind of what started you on the road. So I've got a question I've sort of put up here is what was the journey? So how, I mean, obviously what you're doing now, I guess, is quite far removed from that very first sort of foray onto the stage. So what was your journey from where you were to where you are now?
So my journey began, like I said, but as I got older, I actually sold alarm systems door to door. And
wow.
So we would knock on doors and say, excuse me, I have a small problem I know you can help me with. We're doing these alarm systems in the area. And from that, I became a trainer of people who sold alarms door to door. So I trained people on how to do it. And so I was a sales trainer. I then from there got into real estate because I thought, oh, I'm sure you have shows, you have HGTV in the UK or something similar where you see these real estate shows and it's just so glamorous and these real estate agents with these fancy cars and
yes,
it's not really like that.
It's not really.
It's not really like that. No, not at all. But so when I got into real estate, I got into real estate when I was 25 years old, and being the average age in the United States of a real estate agent is 52.
Oh my goodness.
And being a younger person in the business, they always came to me and said, oh, we're having trouble with technology in the office. Can you help us with this? Or we have a question about Facebook. How do you do this? And so eventually I had to say, I have to charge you something because you're taking time away from my actual business. And they were like, fine, how much? And so it kind of developed from there where I started writing programs and different things, topics that people could learn from. And then the people that typically hire me would be a real estate broker or the real estate boards that put on educational programs for the real estate agents. And so in the States, we have like continuing education that's required by our Department of State, they call it. And so I do all of those programs related to technology and video. So I try to stay.
And that was self-taught. Did you teach?
I'm sorry?
Did you teach yourself all of that? Was that something that you just decided you were going to do?
In regards to just learning the technology?
Yeah, the programming, because obviously that's quite a huge thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm the type of personality where if I don't know something, I have to learn everything there is to know about it. So like when I started doing video, it all started with just, grabbing my cell phone and doing something like, okay, well, how do I, hey, hi, how are you, Rona?
Rona, yeah.
Yeah, hey, Rona. So I just started with me and my phone, and I thought, okay, well, what happens when I upload this to YouTube? Where does that go? How can I make that better? How can I make better videos? How can I edit them? And so from there on, I just kind of self-taught. I think with YouTube, there's really no need to take a formal classroom training anymore because there's so many great people all across the world now that can help us with any topic. So I'm mainly self-taught.
Yeah, I was going to say, talking about YouTube, which is slightly off subject, but you saying that it's one of those things that I find incredible. No matter what your problem is, there will be someone on YouTube that can tell you how to do it. And we had, I don't know whether you have I'm sure you do over there, like pop-up tents that kind of fold into the tiniest bag. And then you open the bag and it pops out into a two-man tent or something. And we had one of these things, and obviously we opened the bag and it popped out and there was this lovely tent, and we're like, oh, that's great. Do you think we could get this thing back in the bag? No way.
No, never.
We tried every which way. So in the end, I'm like, let's just look on YouTube. And sure enough, there's this video of a man step by step showing you how to twist this thing back into the bag. I was just like, that's incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's really bizarre. Before we carry on a minute, This is an interesting one, actually. Mark's asking, what is the most expensive real estate that you have sold?
So most expensive real estate that I've sold, or my wife is also a realtor, so that gets interesting. I want to say the most the most expensive in the $800,000 range, US.
So is that?
Sorry.
Okay.
My 7-year-old is here in the office with me because we had a snow day, and he's walking around in circles, and I have no idea why.
Oh, have you got snow?
Exercise. Oh yeah, we have what was called a bombogenesis storm.
Right.
Which you know what that was? I looked it up. Oh, okay, because I learned the word yesterday. I did a Google search myself, but basically we have a lot of snow and it's very cold.
Oh wow.
We've had probably 10 inches in the last 12 hours, and it's 1 degree Fahrenheit currently.
Crikey. We don't tend to get snow like that. Certainly not where I am. Rona, who you just said hello to, she comes from Scotland, which is obviously the north of our country, and they do get more snow up there. But we don't very often get snow days here. We don't get that. But we a few years ago we actually came to New York, my husband and my son and I, and we kind of, we were bewitched by the whole movie thing. We need to go and we need to hail a cab and we need to kind of,
Yeah.
I didn't see one person hail a cab. I was so annoyed. I kept saying, there must be somebody about to jump into the middle of the road and go, taxi. It didn't happen.
No. We have Uber now, where you just grab your phone and you order the cab. That's how they do it now. A company called Uber.
Yeah.
You order it and it comes to location.
So do you not? Well, I suppose you do still have the yellow taxis, do you?
Oh yeah. And where I live actually is 370 miles north of New York City.
Wow.
So where I live in New York, I live between Buffalo and Syracuse. If you've heard of Buffalo or Niagara Falls, New York.
Okay, I've heard of Buffalo. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm 60 miles east of there.
Oh, okay. So would you fly to New York then, presumably, if you wanted to go into the city?
I would fly. Sometimes I speak down there. It's a 45-minute flight, so it's better for me to fly. If there's bad weather or something happens, I can drive it, but it's 5.5 hours. There's a lot of tolls and the gas and all that. Or the petrol, you might say.
The petrol, yes. I know. I did one of my early shows was with an author friend of mine she lives in Oklahoma. And we did a segment where we were just comparing how we say different words and the different meanings. Because, even though we all speak English, it is actually very, very different. And it was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. Right. So anyway, what else was I going to ask you? Right. You touched on the technology side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we are using live technology now. And that was obviously how we linked up. You mentioned in your bio that you do a lot of training. You mentioned it earlier on as well, and the technicals, the technical side of it, and you help people, particularly real estate agents, with their sales, etc., with live technology. So I was just keen to find out how you specifically use it, whether you use it similar to how I do, or whether you've got certain ways that you use it, certain technology, certain things that you do that you find is really beneficial with live technology.
Well, I found for what I do something similar. I host a TV show or a TV. It's funny, right? I host a live show using BeLive.tv. And that's mainly, I interview other people in the industry, other real estate agents or estate agents, as you say, that are leaders in the industry that have done something, or just have, a good example for other people to follow and learn from. And that's been going really well, because our audience is newer agents who are new to the business and are wondering what they should do with their lives, So it's providing guidance, inspiration, and stuff like that. But I've also used it in the real estate business as well as the speaking business, just to share some kind of information. Like, let's say if I was we have bank-owned properties here where the bank has foreclosed on a house. I could do a walkthrough of that property live using Facebook Live. And I like Facebook Live because it's impromptu, and the way Facebook's algorithm works, it comes up on people's newsfeed right at the top. Rather than me do a video, upload it, and then it's somewhere in their newsfeed, it says, Jeremias is going live right now. And people are more likely to click on that, especially if it's a topic of interest. So, for me, it's like if you have a really catchy description of the video, so it might be Foreclosure Friday with Jman, and I'm walking through a house and everybody wants to see inside these foreclosures and what do they really look like. And so it's helped me to demonstrate my expertise in the industry, and I've also used it with other experts. I might have a home inspector there. I might have an insurance agent that I interview. I also do business owners in the area because I specialize in a certain area. And so I want other people to see, who the other top businesses are in the area, because everybody wants to know where's the best restaurant, where's, who's got the best pizza, whatever it is. And so I interview these people. I take that live video, I would then download it and then upload it to YouTube so that if somebody searches it, it all comes back to me as being an expert in the area.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing that with mine. I've downloaded and then uploaded. I'm nowhere near as expert or as accomplished as you in that regard. But I think the beauty that I've found with the live video or live broadcasting is there are so many ways that you can use it. And I think what you just said about doing a walkthrough of a property, foreclosure is what is that? What part is that when sort of people have defaulted on the payments or something? Yeah.
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah. We have.
You have those too, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's different, and I'm really struggling to remember what it is, which I should know, but it's a different. Somebody will tell me in the comments, I'm sure. Yeah, it's a different word that we use. I just want to pop this comment up from this is a friend of mine, Jez, and he's asking you about your low temperatures and whether Niagara Falls have really frozen.
They have really frozen. Yes. And well, on the outside, because the water is always running underneath it, but it's an amazing sight to see. I mean, that's why it is, I believe it's still one of the 7 wonders of the world. If you go there and see it, it's almost like somebody took a magic wand and froze, because they're huge. The size of the falls is unbelievable, but they freeze on the top part, and then underneath the water's still running. It's almost like Elsa from Frozen.
Wow.
Went and just froze it. It's amazing.
I mean, when we came to New York, obviously we were in the city, and that's the only time I've ever been to America. And there's so many places I would like to go, so many things I'd like to see. And the Niagara Falls is definitely one of them. That would be fantastic. Jez has just told me it's repossession. I knew somebody would tell me what it was. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, we call it a foreclosure, but it's basically the same thing. Cars get repossessed here and houses get foreclosed on. I don't know. It's the same process, really. It's the bank taking back what they owe because you haven't paid on it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same principle. And he's saying, wow. And I think that's probably to the waterfalls being frozen. Do you go there? Are you sort of close enough to go often, or do you not tend to?
Well, we go every 1 to 2 years, I would say. It's one of those things when you're so close, you take it for granted, but I sat down with my 7-year-old at the end of the year last year and wrote down some goals, because I believe heavily in goal setting. And I said, what do you want to do next year? What are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? And one of them was he wanted to go back to Niagara Falls in 2018. So we'll be going back to Niagara Falls this year for sure.
Brilliant. Is it overrun with tourists, or is it not too bad?
It's not too bad. I mean, if you went this time of year, you'd have the falls almost to yourself because it's so cold out, But in the middle of summertime, there's a fair amount, but the way it's set up, it's a huge park next to the falls, so it's not like you're it's bottlenecked with everybody trying to get into a narrow space. It's pretty well spread out.
I think that's the thing. And again, I've only been to New York, so I can only comment on that. But for me, it was, have you ever been over here at all?
I haven't.
No. It's very similar to London, but bigger. So the roads are bigger, the space is bigger. I wouldn't say the buildings are necessarily bigger, because there's some pretty big buildings in London as well. But obviously, everything over on your side of the pond is kind of on a much more grand scale to what we have over here. So, we're very quaint, really.
Well, I don't know about that.
So Mark wants to know, we're going back to your estate agency a minute here. How do people make an offer on a property? So how does the process work over there?
Well, it used to be historically you'd write a contract on the house, like from the buyer to the seller. The seller then either accepts it, counters, or doesn't respond. Okay, usually you won't respond if the offer is too low and it's almost insulting, but they would either accept the offer as written or counter it. And if it's accepted, then the attorneys, the lawyers, have to approve the contracts. And then typically where I am in New York State, it takes roughly 60 days from when you write that contract to when you actually close on the house, meaning they give you the keys and you now own it.
60 days?
60 days, yeah.
Wow. Have you got any idea how long it takes over here?
2 weeks?
No. Months.
Months? Okay.
Yeah. I think not the last time we moved, but the time before that, it was 7 months.
7 months.
And that's not unusual, because we have a lot of problems, and I guess you must have similar, but I don't know how it works. Is we have a lot of problems with chains. So where you're buying off somebody and somebody's buying your property, and then there's somebody else, and so on. And if you've got a long chain, everybody has to have done everything before any of the properties can be sold. And so what will happen is, I don't know, somebody, 2 or 3 people below you in the chain might not have instructed their solicitor, or they might not have had their searches done, or whatever. So even though you've done everything and you're ready to go and the money's in the bank and you just want to go, you can't go anywhere because, Mr. Smith 2 or 3 down the road hasn't done it. And it can literally take months.
Yeah, we sometimes have chains like that, but we try to sever the chain. Meaning, like if the market is good enough and you have more than one buyer for a property, I would say, you know what, Emery, you're very nice, but we're not going to allow you to buy this property contingent on the sale of your house. So if you can qualify for both, meaning that you can you can purchase this house without selling your current home, then we would allow that. That kind of severs the chain. Your house will still sell, but it keeps it from going, like you said, chain upon chain upon chain, it severs the chain so they're not linked to all these other people, because like you said, you have somebody 2 or 3 down the road, a level, who isn't doing what they're supposed to, and it ruins it for everybody. And I could imagine it would be.
No, we don't have that. Everything is, if I wanted to come and buy a house tomorrow, it is actually a lot of times now you can't even put an offer on a property until you've sold yours.
Right.
So even if I found the perfect house, but my house was on the market, I couldn't do anything about it until I'd got an offer on mine. So it really is a very lengthy process. It's different in Scotland, and I'm sure Rona can enlighten us as to the process up there. But certainly over here, it's a very, very long process, and it can be exceedingly frustrating. So that's fascinating, actually, that you have a way of kind of getting around that.
Well, what would happen if I was a first-time homebuyer? Like if I was buying my first house in the UK, I moved to the UK because I'm such a successful speaker. I'm traveling through Europe now, and I'm buying my first home. I don't have a house to sell back in the States. I'm just buying your house, and you're buying something in the countryside to retire.
I'm not that old yet.
Well, I mean, You don't have to, you know.
Oh no,
You're
that's
you're gonna be writing books in the country and
this is
relaxing
it.
and have.
I
Yeah.
am a millionaire, and I am off to retire to my pampered palace.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I've done that, and you can. No, if you're a first-time buyer, it's different. We bought our first flat, and we didn't have anything to sell, and the flat, there was nobody in the flat, and I think that took 6 weeks.
Okay.
That was the fastest we've ever done it, because there was obviously nobody else involved. But generally speaking, when you're in a family-size house, like we are, where you've got people below you, people above you, it can be really messy. It can be really tricky. So, okay. Now, I wanted to talk to you a bit about professional speaking.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned to you, I've just done it now. I've said now. I mentioned to you that when I'm speaking and I'm trying to think about what to say, I go, and then I watch it back and I just want to wring my neck for the amount of times I say So you must, obviously you're standing in front of an audience, you must have moments where your mind goes a bit blank and you're trying to think what you're going to say next. How do you kind of do that without looking like you've completely lost the plot?
I almost said it, but I didn't. I have found that, do you have Toastmasters International there? Have you heard of Toastmasters?
We have Toastmasters over here. Yes, we do. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that would be one of the best, cheapest, most inexpensive ways to improve on your public speaking, because they do just that. In every meeting, there's somebody who is an counter grammarian. So they're checking for grammar as well as how many ums, ahs, or filler words they call them, because some people, they start thinking about when they say and instead they might say okay. I might say something, then go okay, okay, and then they say okay like 100 times during their speech, and they don't realize it because now that's their new filler word. So what it teaches you to do is, instead of using a filler word, just to pause, think about what you're going to say, and then say it. It's okay to pause. There's times where I've given speeches and they're like, well, I don't know if that dramatic pause was necessary. And I go, think about what I had to say. It wasn't that I was trying to do a dramatic pause. It was just, I forgot what I was going to say, and I was trying to collect my thoughts without going, especially if you have like a microphone on you and everything you do, everybody can hear. So for me, I only speak on stuff that I'm an expert in. I'm a subject matter expert in real estate, as well as video and technology, and then generational differences, talking about millennials and things like that. So I have a presentation that complements what I'm saying, but it's also keeping me on pace and giving me reminders as I go through let's say next week I'm speaking in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I have a class that I'm doing for 2 hours on video and real estate and how to build your brand and your business, or something along those lines. And so I have a presentation that guides me through what I'm supposed to say. It's not what I'm saying, but it complements what I'm saying. So if I ever get stuck, I would just have to click the next slide and go, yes, equipment you might use in video and it just jogs my memory and it keeps me going. But I would say initially, it's going to be a challenge, but just like anything, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. I know when I started doing live video, it was awful. I mean, it was awful. Not to say that it's perfect now, but I've learned that who cares?
Yeah.
You're going to make it, right? You're going to make mistakes, and that's why YouTube became so popular. It's because it's amateur video. They're not signing on to see somebody who's professional and polished. They like me for me, and they see my personality, how I am, my interactions. I'm very animated, and I can be funny, impromptu funny, not like canned speech funny. And so I just found that if you just be yourself, and you're going to make mistakes. There's no question about it. Who cares?
I think, and I think that's really valid, actually, because one of the other comments I was going to bring up was obviously overcoming camera shyness. One of the things that people have said to me is, why are you doing it, first of all? And then, because it's completely out there.
Right.
It's not like, obviously for you, you've got, you're walking through a house, you want to put it on live video, you want people to see it, you want to market it. I don't have, apart from my books, I don't have a physical product as such to sell. So for me, it's all about, as I said to you, just finding out about other people and what goes on in everyone's lives, from the point of view of just really kind of expanding my, I suppose not my reach, that's not the right word, but just kind of expanding my knowledge base, if you like, and just kind of finding out all of these things. But if you sort of look at it in black and white, this is not something that necessarily sits automatically with what I do. So live video isn't something that you'd think, oh, I'm an author, I'm going to do live video. The two aren't an automatic marriage. So a lot of people have said that to me, why are you doing it? And then they've said, how do you do it? And not in as much as the technology, but in as much as, how on earth do you get over the fact that you're sitting there live talking to people? And I think the point you made there is absolutely valid, because for me, I just thought, I'm just going to do it. And it doesn't matter if I mess up. It doesn't matter if I don't look great. It doesn't matter if it goes wrong. That's me. And ultimately, people buy from people. And I think that's what is so important, is that people see the real you when you're doing stuff like this, because it goes wrong.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's no question. I teach a class on how to overcome your fear of video. And number one and number two, you don't like how you look and you don't like how you sound. Top two reasons why people aren't going to use video. Right. And I always say, it's how you look. Right? It's how you look and it's how you sound. So people still do business with you every day, despite what you look like.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, stop hiding from them. Like today's Casual Friday in the office, and if you don't follow American football, the Buffalo Bills made it to the playoffs for the first time since 1999. Okay. And so
I'm gonna pretend I understand the importance of that.
Okay. So you can look it up or Google search it after. But today's Casual Friday, and I wore my team colors to the office, and then I thought, oh man, I have this interview in the afternoon. I should go home and dress more business professional, business casual. And I'm like, it's fine. This is who I am. My hair isn't gelled. It's normally fluffy like this. It's just. It is what it is. This is who I am. I mean, I don't want to, not all Americans look like this and act like this. So don't the voice for an entire,
but you see, if
all New Yorkers or something.
Absolutely. If you'd have done that and you'd have kind of, made yourself into something different, if you like, that wouldn't have been real. I mean, it would, right. But it wouldn't in the same way. I'd much rather, you came obviously as you are, and we can just talk in a relaxed kind of, there's no formalities, there's no pretense, there's none of that. It's just, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
And you're absolutely
behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. Behind the scenes. Exactly. And what did you say? The Buffaloes? Behind the scenes, the Buffaloes is that Buffalo Bulls, is it?
Bills, yeah.
Oh, Bills.
Bills. It's an American football team, because I know you have football is different over there in the UK.
It is, yeah. I think you call our football soccer. Is that right?
Soccer, yeah. Correct. Yeah.
I don't follow football over here either, so yeah, I like my cricket, which you don't get over there.
No. I don't like baseball.
You like baseball?
I played baseball growing up, and I'm a New York Mets fan, which is a professional baseball team. But, football is my sport. Football American.
Okie dokie. Well, I will promise to look it up afterwards.
Okay. I'm going to hold you to it.
So that I can understand how important that is.
Yes.
So we are getting to the end, and I know you're a busy man, and I don't want to hold you up for any longer than need be.
No
but
worries.
because I am an author, I do want to ask you this question. Favorite book author? Please feel free to say me, even though you've not read any of my books.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would go without saying that you're my favorite author.
But no, I mean, you know, do you have people that inspire you? Do you have books that you read that, you know, help, or do you kind of read for fun, or do you not read at all?
Well, I do read. I know how to read, but I have books.
No, some people just don't, though, do they? You know, it's just.
Well, with the traveling that I do for speaking, I spend a lot of time in the car, and I love Audible. So I love
Okay.
audiobooks, but I could say, it's just off the top of my head, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. And a lot of the stuff I read is sales related, but I'm just looking through my phone now to tell you what's on my recent Audible list. Audible. So
while you're doing that, we've got a couple of comments come in. Rona says, that's how you make friends, by being yourself.
That's a true story.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Mark has said, oh, when the Saints go marching in. Does that mean does that mean anything to you at all?
I hear the song, oh, when the Saints.
That's it. Yeah, he supports Southampton Football Club over here, and their name, so like your Bills, Buffalo Bills,
okay,
their name is the Saints. So their song is "Oh, when the Saints go marching in." So he's referencing your Buffalo Bills, that I am going to look up and find out all about, so that I know exactly what it's all about.
All right, so I have this. Here's a really good book. If you wanted to become a better speaker, and I was wanting to become a funnier speaker, more entertaining, it's a book called Do You Talk Funny? It's 7 Comedy Habits to Become a Better and Funnier Public Speaker, and it's by David Nihill.
Okay.
He's actually Irish, I believe, and it's on Audible, so he actually recorded it himself, and it's pretty funny. Pretty funny.
And you found that beneficial, did you?
Yeah, it talks about his journey he wanted to become one of the best public speakers in the world, and he did so by trying to become a professional for 1 full year. Wow. And so he did improv nights, you know, and he says in the book that comedians are some of the best writers on earth, because they have to just continuously write material, test material, refine it, make it more concise, you know, and it's constantly a guess and check method, testing out material and seeing what works. And if you're a speaker, you should definitely be doing that. And that's why I try to record all of my sessions, all that I can, with a video record, so that I can see if there's any filler words that I'm using. If I tell a story and it resonates with the audience, or it's funny, you know, what's a way that I can tell that story better the next time? Can I make it more concise? Can I take out certain parts of it? So definitely a good book.
I will pop that in the comments, because I've got all your links here for all your pages and various bits and pieces. So I shall put all those in the comments as well. So if anybody obviously wants to get hold of you after this, then obviously they know how to. I do need to show, I did pop this on earlier, I do need to show you this comment. Your wife would love my books.
Okay.
a bit of shameless self-promotion from my friend there.
Oh, well, absolutely.
Yeah. So as I say, I've got all your links and everything here. I will pop them on a little bit later on so that everyone can see them. But I really just want to say thank you. It's been absolutely fantastic to talk to you. And I'm just so thrilled that you put your hand up and said, yep, I don't mind talking to some mad English woman.
No, thanks for having me. It's truly my pleasure and an honor to, be speaking to folks in the UK. I mean, this is great. And I love how technology can really build bridges across the pond, if you will, to kind of bring us together.
Absolutely. And like I said at the beginning, our paths would never normally have crossed and yet now they have, and you know, we can keep in touch, and it's just fab. It's just brilliant. And oh, we've got somebody who does know what your bills are. Bulls things. Go the Bills.
Go the Bills. Go Bills. No, just go Bills. But go the Bills. I'll take it.
Yeah, we put the in things because you said what's the one you? Oh, I can't think. Anyway, we put extra words in that you don't tend to put in. But there we go. There's somebody rooting for you there.
Thank you. Thanks, Rona.
Fab life show, guys. Thank you ever so much. So yeah, thank you, Jman. It's been a real pleasure. I'm truly honoured that you came on and spent a little bit of time with us over here in the UK. And yeah, maybe we can do it again one day. It's been really fabulous. So thanks very much. Did you just want to say bye to everybody quickly, and then we'll close down the show?
Goodbye, everybody. Nice to meet you. Take care.
Thanks ever so much. All right, you take care. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everyone, for watching on replay. And yeah, I shall be back again next week. I can't remember off the top of my head who I've got next week, but it will be another great show. Thanks once again, Jman, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Take care.